Hello friends, my name is Ruslan Bortnik and this is Institute of Politics project. Today's topic, the United States as a peace broker. The path to global dominance of the United States began with the role of peacemaker, not military victor. Even before the First and Second World Wars, the United States, tasting its growing military and economical power, played a major role in ending the war between the two powerful states of the time, Japan Empire and the Russian Empire. We are talking about the peacekeeping mission of United States President Theodore Roosevelt to reconcile the Russian Empire and Japan Empire in 1905, ending the war between them, which acquired the historical name of the Portsmouth Peace. Theodore Roosevelt, the great United States President, received one of the first Nobel Peace Prize for his keeping efforts in concluding this treaty back in 1906. The main reason of that war were geopolitical ambitions of both empires. Russia and Japan were not able to share their interests in Asia, in China and Korea. Both countries wanted to make control over the China and Korea. Moreover, Russian Empire was willing to keep under control a new non-freezing port in the Atlantic Ocean, Port Arthur. The Russo-Japanese War began in 1904, mainly over control of Manchuria and Korea. The war was extremely destructive for both sides, especially for the Russian Empire, which suffered a series of military defeats. Both countries were extremely exhausted. The general Russian losses were between 40 and 70,000 killed or died soldiers and officers. Moreover, 150,000 of soldiers were wounded and additionally 70,000 were captured and imprisoned by Japanese. And Russia lost a lot of territorial control and lost at least 8 main battleships of its fleet in this region. Situation in Japan was not much better. Despite of Japan won that war, Japanese losses were even bigger than Russian losses. Japan lost at least more than 80,000 soldiers and officers killed and more than 180,000 soldiers and officers were wounded. Also, Japan lost a lot of material resources and military equipment which were extremely necessary for the continuation of this war. By 1905, both countries were exhausted and peace negotiations became a necessity. Theodore Roosevelt, the United States President, was concerned about the situation in the region and the global consequences of the ongoing conflict. Roosevelt believed that a peaceful resolution of the conflict was the best interest of the United States and the international community, as the continuation of the war could destabilize all Asia-Pacific region.
I have tried as best I could to be an honest broker in bringing about a peace that would be honorable and lasting.
Roosevelt offered himself as a mediator in peace negotiations. His proposal was taken seriously by both sides and they agreed to hold negotiation in the United States. For Roosevelt, this was also an opportunity to strengthen the role of the United States on the international stage as a mediator and peacemaker. Peace negotiations and the Treaty of Portsmouth took place in Portsmouth and Roosevelt was actively involved behind the scenes, supporting both sides while maintaining neutrality. He emphasized that both sides need to find a compromise. His intervention helped to soften many of sharp disagreements between the sides. Terms of Treaty of Portsmouth. The first, territory transfer. Japan gained control over southern Manchuria and the southern part of Sakhalin Island. However, Japan was unable to achieve full control over all Manchuria as it had desired before. The second, Korea. Russia recognized Korea as a sphere of influence of Japan, which marked the end of Russia's policy in the region. The third, economic interests. Russia transferred to Japan the concessions on the southern Manchurian railway and the rights to lease Port Arthur. The fourth, reparations. It is important to know that Japan, despite its victory, did not receive war reparations from Russia. This point was a compromise achieved through Roosevelt's efforts to avoid further escalation, outcomes and consequences. The conclusion of the Treaty of Portsmouth earned Roosevelt the Nobel Peace Prize in 1906 for his mediation. The treaty strengthened the international reputation of the United States as a great power capable of acting as a mediator on the world stage. However, the treaty itself caused dissatisfaction in both Japan and Russia. In Japan, many considered the peace terms too lenient, given the country's military success, while in Russia the treaty sparked unrest as it was perceived as humiliating. Thus, the role of the United States in the conclusion of the peace agreement was crucial, and Theodore Roosevelt's intervention became one of the first examples of active American involvement in international affairs as a peacemaker.
The most important lesson that can be learned from the Portsmouth Peace Conference is the lesson of compromise. Compromise between nations as well as between individuals.
Thank you, friends, for watching this video in Institute of Politics project. Please subscribe for our channel. We will do our best to explain the political reality.